What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of What You're Missing. This is where I'm going to tell you about what games I played, because this is what I do every Tuesday. It will come as no surprise I played more Wildstar. Yes, the obsession and the addiction continues, but I've got a lot of time on my hands and I might as well use it productively. This doesn't really qualify as productive in most people's worlds, but you work with what you got, right? I'm not going to talk to you about Wildstar, though. What I am going to talk to you about is Don't Starve. So in anticipation of playing multiplayer with people like at JTI Photos and at Exasperate on Twitter, I went back into Don't Starve to try to wrap my hands around the game again and see, try to remember what it is that I had done that got me to day 30 before or I think it was like 34 before I just quit out of boredom. I played a different character. I played the girl with the lighter, which I gotta say is really, I enjoyed playing her, in part because you can wander around at night with the lighter out and you need to worry about carrying a torch. She's also a bit of a pyromaniac, which I can get behind. Not that I'm a pyro. I've never lit anything on fire that, all right, as a kid, I might have burned toilet paper in the bathroom over the toilet, because I was a responsible child. And I did play with matches a little bit, but again, also over the toilet because, I didn't want to burn the house down. I liked to burn leaves with my magnifying glass. I might have done an ant once or twice, but I felt bad about it, so I went back to the leaves. Anyway, I digress. So I played Don't Starve, ran around with this girl 2.5 hours, doing well. So here's my strategy. I'm going to lay it on you. You can do with it what you will. If you play with me, one of us can be like on food duty, the other one can be on resource, collection. So I found a guide online a few months back when I was playing this in the first place, and they said, what you do is you find, for your base camp, try to find a bunch of rabbit holes, at least 5 or 6, all within sort of the radius of a good campfire. And so that's step 1. Harvest as much grass and twigs as you can. Find some flint so that you can make a fire and that you can make tools to get more, to get wood and rocks and things like that. So I did that. I wandered around. I got grass. I got twigs. And then miraculously I found a place with a bunch of rabbit holes that were all within the radius of a campfire. So I built a campfire right there. Once I got that done, then you get as much grass and twigs as you can get. You come back and you build as many traps as there are rabbit holes, and you drop a trap on every rabbit hole, and then you go away, like right on top of it. You go away, you gather wood, you gather rocks, you gather more resources, you burn down the occasional tree that you find that's isolated so you can get charcoal, you get a bunch of charcoal together, build a shovel. Build one of those like science stations so that you can build the shovel. Build a science station, build a shovel, go out and collect. I started with about 30 of each, but the guide I remember reading said to get 50 of each. So create an area right next to your camp that has 50 twigs and 50 grass. Now for each of the grass that you dig up and bring back, you're going to need 1 manure. So you're going to want to find beefalo, because beefalo leave manure. I mean, we all know this. So it's also worth mentioning that if you can find your base camp and all of those rabbit holes near a beefalo sort of area, that's ideal. Not right in a beefalo area, because when they go into heat, they get real angry and they will kill you. That's bad. But if you're far enough away that they don't wander into your camp ever, and by the way, you can figure out, you'll know if they're in heat if their butts are red. Anyway, so have your camp close, but not so close that they're actually wandering into your camp. Same thing with pigs. I'm not exactly sure why you care about pigs or why you would want them near you, but you don't want them right in your camp or right within the general vicinity of your camp, because when the full moon is out, they turn into werepigs and they will come and kill you. Also bad. So once you plant like 50 things of grass and 50 things of twigs, it's worth considering that when there's a thunderstorm, if lightning strikes in your, nicely collected area of grass and or twigs, everything will catch fire and it will be all destroyed. Also added to the bad list. So what you may want to do, so two things. First, you can make a lightning rod and sort of put it near one or both of them. Secondly, if you're in the middle of a thunderstorm, don't go near your camp, because generally the lightning will only strike near you. At least that's the comment I've read. I have never come back to my camp to find everything in a pile of ashes because a lightning strike hit while I was gone. So take that for what it's worth. So anyway, so once you got all that done, the guide said to make drying racks. And I guess if you are planning on doing a lot of distant traveling away from your camp, then I would make 3 to 6 drying racks and make yourself as much jerky as you can with all of the rabbits that you're picking up. That said, it takes 2 days to dry out a piece of meat. So if you're thinking this is going to be your main food source, probably not what you want to do. In order to use crock pots, and that's kind of what you want to go to next, because that will be the most filling thing. Each crock pot, you want to make kebabs. That's what I usually make. 3 rabbit meat and 1 twig per crock pot will make something that refills a little over 1/3 of your stomach and some of your health. So in order to do that, obviously the 6 traps that you're normally laying down are not going to cut it. So you're going to need to find 3 more nearby to get like a set of 3 crock pots set up. If you want to populate your drying racks, that's going to be another 6 traps. And if you're in the area, it's probably not too difficult to find. But that's a lot of harvesting. That's like a day of wandering around picking up rabbits and putting the traps back down. So another little tip is if you can find one of those wormholes with the teeth and find a camp area that's near one of those, that'll make traveling long distances easier as well, because then you can sort of, yeah, you can hop into that and then go and explore other areas and pop out right back near your camp. Now, I mentioned beefalo before. This is important, and you want to be near them because every like 10 days, I think it is, night wolves come out. And they're very tough and they're extremely fast, and they will kill you. So when this happens, run to the beefalo, because the beefalo will attack the night wolves. And so you just run circles around them while the wolves sort of attack and chase you. Eventually the beefalo will attack them and take them off your hands for you. On the off chance that some beefalo die, you can then pick up things that the beefalo drop, like horns and fur, which you're going to need for other things. So there you go. So that's my intro guide. If you're going to play with me in the future, we can use this. It got me to day 20 just in my first game back here. No problems. I got a little careless and stupid, and I got killed by a wandering eyeball. And if you've never played this game, all of this probably sounds very ridiculous. The game is pretty ridiculous. But yeah, so there you go. That's what I played this week. There wasn't a lot of, I didn't do any Let's Plays because the guy that I usually do Let's Plays with is playing by himself, being somewhat antisocial. But he's got, you know, a life of his own, games that he wants to play on his own that don't involve me. And, you know, I just need to understand and accept that. So that's how it is. All right, well, that's all I got this week. One thing that I was considering as far as games that I am going to play, and I know that this is totally unprecedented, and instead of talking about the games I did play, I'm talking about the games I'm going to play, and I get it, okay, but I am thinking that I would like to, maybe this week, maybe next week, I'm not sure, it depends on when I have time and availability, I'd like to do a retro gaming Let's Play, and it'll obviously be Let's as in I'm playing and you can watch. I'll stream. But some of the retro games that I'm thinking of playing are the Wing Commander games and King's Quest, the King's Quest series, the Quest for Glory series, and the Space Quest series. I've got all of them on goodoldgames.com, and I think it'd be really cool. I saw something that Polygon is doing, like an adventure game revival, and they're going back and playing some of those games, and it reminded me that I have those games and that I'm not playing them currently. So, something to look forward to. See some of the games that I played when I was growing up that really inspired me and that caught my imagination, and I really just love those games. So tune in later, maybe this week. I'll maybe put a blog post together about it, but yeah, so look for that. Go subscribe. Tell your friends about this. If you have any ideas on how to better sort of publicize what's going on here, let me know. Let's talk. and we'll go from there. All right? So have a good week, and I'll see you next week.